Yeah, sorry. Please hold. This is not a thing. Let's do this show. There you go. Boom. So let me collect myself a little bit. I just got off an amazing call with Adrian, who's the CEO of Wombat, one of the most helpful people on the face of the earth. People might not know this. He's the only person that would talk to me way back in the day about listing Shipple in a wallet. And he was like, yeah, screw it. Let's do it. And so I got to show him today that Shipple is number 6 on Wax. And it was very fun. And we talked about the potential for there being a very serious, very intense meme coin season for Wax. He's very excited about that idea and has a lot of ideas around that. And so we should definitely talk more about that publicly when one says I'm allowed. So, we've got one of my dear friends. This is not something that like streamers say. Russell's one of my favorite people on the face of the earth. We've had some pretty intense moments. I won't get into that, but it's a thing.
That's for a different podcast.
It's a different podcast with a little bit more psychedelics in it. Anyway, so Russell, I've been excited to have you on for a while, especially since we initially started this whole thing back up. And really, I had a chat with Russell before coming on air this morning. He's been kind of getting excited about lithium 22x, whatever. It's fine, nothing to see here. And what's possible with Nefty and like what the frick is going on with Keck, which is actually like Adrian asking the same thing, like what is this Keck nonsense? I'm like, well, let me tell you, it is nonsense, and I love it. And by the way, anybody who uses Wombat Wallet, Keck is about to show up there any minute. He just did it live while we were on the phone together. So.
Cool.
That whole thing is happening, and So anyway, Russell's working with Ken. If I'm not mistaken, Russell, you actually recruited him to come and work for the Asvoria thing.
Oh,
did you? Can you hear me? Is this working? Oh, did we lose him? Son of a farfanugan.
Oh.
All right. Well, pretty sure he did. So that happened. Oh man, apparently my RAM is trying to go in. Whatever, I think we're good. So anyway, Asvoria, is this big Unreal 5 metaverse thing that they were building for a long time. We were aware of it last cycle. Hey, he's back.
Sorry. I think my internet just conked out for like 10 seconds spontaneously. So.
Hey, at least your face wasn't stuck like.
I know. Always
every time my internet goes, right?
So sorry, you started asking. I think you were asking him whether I brought Ken on, and yes, the answer is so. Ken and we've all known Ken for a while, and I was just happened to be in New Jersey doing some work with another company that in Montclair, and I know that Ken was there in New Jersey as well. He actually responded. I mean, he wasn't responding to many people, but just so happened that day I coaxed his address out of him. He didn't want to give it to me, but I forced him. And it turns out he was 90 minutes away. So on the Saturday, I jumped in the car, I drove out to see him. And, this is like, it's really, it's like when you plant a seed and you watch it blossom. This is like with Ken, that's what I'm witnessing right now, his resurgence. And he's like the phoenix rising from the ashes. And it's amazing. We were, in ETH Denver, and then we were in New York at NFT NYC. And just the reaction of people as Ken is walking by, and they're like, it's like they just saw Elvis walk by. It's like, wait, is that who I think it is? I thought he was dead. It's that kind of thing. Like
there might be a crypto Jesus, but it's Ken for me, and it always will be. Just that's how this is gonna go.
But it's like that's one thing with Ken is he just has this like God-given ability. Somehow he's like a magnet, and his ability to build communities is second to none. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, and as soon as he popped his head out after like 2 years of dropping off the face of this earth, he everyone just comes rushing back like as if nothing had happened. Like they were all anxious and waiting, and as soon as Ken's like, I'm back, everyone comes back. You see that he's doing his daily podcast again, and the ripples are extending really, really fast for him. And it's, we brought him into Asvoria as a brand ambassador. And I told him from the very beginning, I said, the best thing that you can do for Asvoria is to build up your own community, your own personal brand, and then just bring them in. Like we're happy to let you do your thing, whatever you need to do to get back there. We'll support you, and then we'll have a place for you, in Asvoria where your community can engage and you can do all these amazing things. And obviously Ken has incredible history on Wax as well, so he's going to help. What we were talking about earlier is create that bridge, between our Solana-based ecosystem and your Wax-based one. So that's very exciting. But yeah, it's really nice to see. And Elise, I don't want to go too much. I know we got lots of other things to talk about, but Elise Sam as well, which who she's amazing and she's part of the core team. And this is like the and then Miguel Celis, this is like the four of us travel to all the different conferences, and we're kind of like the North American, I call them the chorus crew. So it's really nice. And actually, both in Denver and in New York, we actually stayed. We got Airbnbs. Instead of all of us being in individual hotel rooms, I booked large 4-bedroom Airbnbs. Actually, in New York, it was 3-bedroom, and Ken and Mickey had to bunk. But otherwise, we all stay together.
That picture comes to mind instantly. Like, that's just like, yeah, of course it is.
Ken insists on being the big spoon, so.
Not surprised.
But otherwise, it's really fun. We all stay together, and it's like we're like this little crypto family. And Elise brings her husband and her 2 young kids. They drive from their home to the conference, and so it's a great. It feels like there's a lot of passion in this project, and the people that we get to work with people that we genuinely love, and we consider family. So that's.
But it's just, really honestly, like, the fact that they put, it seems like to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, they kind of put you in charge of building a team and you're doing it. And it's exactly the freaking dream team that I would have built if I was starting from scratch. It's good. It's just, it's awesome. And so when we were talking this morning, you were talking about so Asvoria is going to start out with launching an NFT marketplace on Solana. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so that's the first thing we've been building. Just generally, we had our TGE about a month and a half, almost 2 months ago, and we really waited. We've been building for 4 years. The last 2 years heavily focused on development because when we launched the token, we wanted to have substance and not just hype. So we wanted to have at least a good part of the platform built and be able to have launches, not in the distant future, but in the short term. So we managed to do that. The first part of the platform that's going live is the NFT marketplace. That should be in the next 30 days. We're tentatively targeting May 15th, but you know how these things go. We're doing internal testing now. We're waiting to get the code audited. So when we launch, it's going to be safe and secure and stable. And then there is an integrated wallet component. So, from the beginning, we wanted, as you'll see, the user interface is fairly straightforward and intuitive, and it's really designed for brand new users. There's always such a barrier to entering the space. If you don't have any experience, it can feel overwhelming and intimidating. And that's one thing that we've always, myself personally, since I got into the space 10 years ago, an underlying goal has always been to help facilitate mass adoption. And part of that is this onboarding process for new users. So, we built a custodial wallet that, again, is very simple to configure and load and gives you sort of that Web 2 functionality. If you're a little bit more advanced and you already have a Phantom wallet or another non-custodial wallet, you can certainly plug that in and, operate through there. So both options are available. And the NFT marketplace, we're right now reaching out to a number of different artists. We really want to have curated art. It's not going to be like an OpenSea. It's not going to be, we want to have art there that has real merit and standing, some, pedigree within the art world, or have significant utility. And, that leads to the next part of the platform that's going to go live is the Launchpad. This is something that is, I think, Ethereum has some good ones, Polygon certainly, but there isn't that market-leading Launchpad on Solana. And it's such an important thing to grow the entire ecosystem. It brings all of users together. It helps projects launch greater and greater utility on these additional chains. And Solana is really coming into its own. It recently surpassed Ethereum in NFT trading volume. And again, when you're paying a penny to mint or a penny to buy, you quickly become very jaded with Ethereum. It's like, I know you guys in Wax, you're gas free. Where Solana is pretty close, not quite free, but it's as close to it. So I think there's a lot of advantages to it, and the launchpad is going to be, again, curated. We want projects that have real value, that are helping to solve a problem. We want tokens. Certainly, listen, we're going to get into this, I'm sure. I've definitely had a bit of a change of heart regarding meme tokens over the last, say, 6 months.
Is it because the market cap has gone through the roof and is now larger than some small countries?
The sustainability is surprising me.
Never
I 6 months
argue
ago
with the
would not have
market.
thought that possible, but it's also, it's this whole idea of community effect and value. And ultimately, that's really all any currency is, any NFT, it's what is it valued? And when you build a community that's purely based on a meme, but if there's loyalty there, that loyalty is quantifiable. That loyalty can be monetized, right? That's really all a meme token is doing, and it really is a brilliant use case, and it's easy to dismiss, but the more you kind of dive into it, the greater the value becomes apparent.
I think so too, and what I've been learning tons from Bonk and my experience there, and like looking at what Wuffy did, and honestly, like I love what Wuffy did, but I learned way more about what we could do than what they did. Sort of like as an interesting jumping off point. Not that we're thinking about that at all, and might do something in those spaces. Juan, someday you're gonna have to let me off the chain, man. Oh my god, lose my mind over here. Anyway, so the thing that I think is the next level of that, right? Like Bonk, I bought Bonk because TC. By the way, KEK stands for LOL, just so that everybody understands why people will just start randomly saying KEK all over the time. It's really fun. You buy into Bonk, you stake it for however long you want to stake it, and you get a little bit of benefit. But then, like, I was doing it for the airdrop, and the airdrop wasn't even that big, right? But you kind of get that sense that now, from a community point of view, right, the community around Bonk is obviously, very intense. They did some really smart things early on, and they continue to. But now it's like that the ability to kind of cross-pollinate, like communities are going to come to want to do collaborations like this, kind of like the way we're seeing like tons of liquidity pool collaborations on Wax right now. And because of the way that the TVL is like literally combined now because of the multi-routing, right? The more liquidity any of us have, the more liquidity all of us have. Like it's kind of zen when you start to kind of take the 30,000 foot view of it. That's sort of the next level to me, right? Like you can build a community, in that community now, as they start to sort of collaborate and sort of communicate almost with other communities about, here's what we're doing. This is fun. Hey, what are you doing? This is fun. And sort of, being able to sort of add value to each other is fascinating to me, right? Like now, not only do we have communities, but we start to have network communities, and the value of that gestalt, I think, is orders of magnitude larger than anyone on their own.
It ultimately comes down to the value of a community like Doge, like Shib, like Whiff, like Bonk, like Pepe, like any of the multi-billion-dollar. I mean, all 5 of those are in the 2 are like in the top 10, 5 are the other 3 are in the top 50. There's though the value in that community is no less legitimate than the value in USD. I mean, it really, when it comes, or if not more so, right? Like
again, with the market, you can't argue with it.
Or gold, or diamonds, or anything. There is absolutely objective value there, and it's just a new paradigm. So it's difficult for a lot of people to see that value, and it comes off sometimes as a joke. But that value is absolutely legitimate.
I love that.
But I think it's basically the same as PFPs. For me, it's exactly the same value. Only meme coins or meme tokens make it way easier, because it's way easier to become part of that community. You can become part of the community with a little bit of tokens or with a lot of tokens. It's not like PFPs. If the PFP is worth $50,000, then your community becomes very exclusive, very selective. But with meme tokens, you can include a lot of people in your community without restricting them I want to have a lot, I want to have a little. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually a really good point. You're right, because Bored Apes is priced most people out of the market. Even in the downtime, it's still whatever 15 ether. I mean, not many people have that to throw around. But in a meme token, you can put in $10, $50, $100, whatever you can afford. Right? There's no minimum. So yeah, it's a very good point.
Well, and really, like, there's nothing stopping you from integrating a PFP into the experience, especially with, and again, like, let me know what this is going to be like from a technical perspective on Solana. I am obviously very fascinated with not only having a meme coin or token tsunami on Wax, but engineering it, which I think as a community, as a group of projects, we can do. And that's all I'm allowed to say about that, I think, right now. We're fine, but the ability on NFT blocks and to almost seamlessly go from token to NFT to token to NFT and to like all the different ways that you can move seamlessly through those two mediums is super fascinating to me, right? Because like I think we can leverage the technology and the tools and the sort of innovations that teams like NFT blocks and other people have made on Wax to supercharge that experience for people, right? To make it like really, really interesting and have those situations where we can, the PFP thing has a freaking vibe. It really does, right? And then you can like lean into that culturally so that you can sort of tie those two things together with a token and make it massive.
Yeah, that's one of the great things with Wax and specifically with NFT blocks is this whole idea of blending and merging and redeeming, and like it's also Wax makes it really easy to do all those things as well. But it's really an interesting and we're talking with Ken right now about having some kind of mechanism where he creates an initial OG collection on Solana, and then people can take his Wax NFTs, his bros, and somehow merge them or blend them into Solana NFTs. That would be a really cool thing. So
oh, it's smart, and I think it's funny too. Like all the naysayers on Ken, and I think there's literally two. They might be loud. Fine. I have never doubted. Right? He's it got quiet on Wax for everybody. It got quiet for Uplift. And obviously, like just go look at the chart. We're doing all right. And honestly, like I have not yet started. Like that legitimate. I know I keep saying this on the show. People that watch this all the time are like, yeah, we know you only have 6% of your plan done. But for real, I only have 6% of my plan done. A lot more coming for Liftim and the Uplift. And so that's exciting. But I know Ken's going to do stuff, right? And so like, and really anything that we can do where actions on Wax are having a material effect on Solana so that those communities are they start to feel the same from a human perspective. Yeah, I think the rest starts to take care of itself, right? Because then, talking to Adrian from Wombat, who like legitimately, I just want to say this out loud because Juan had the same experience. And again, first guy that would even talk to me about Chipple, like he's the reason why it exists. And I might have mentioned it's number 6 on Wax. It is, it's fine. But like just genuinely, you get on the phone with this guy, he's trying to figure out how to help you. And like that, I just, I've always wanted to embody that because that was like the first example of that I saw in Web3. And it's so freaking good. And we had like a really amazing conversation about this. Anyway, the idea that you can start to focus on just the humans. He's not worried. He was mentioning like the you can't bridge any other token but WUF to Solana right now, right? And you have to use the Wax Cloud Wallet. Like these are limiting factors. Like, it would have been categorically better had they done a permissionless structure so that anybody in the Wax ecosystems could go to Solana because then you'd have lots of other things going on. Blah, 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 right? All of that is entirely true. I want to come at it from the perspective of, I am not a dev. I've obviously coded a couple things. It takes me 100 times longer than everywhere else, right? But that community thing is the thing that's why it sounds like I've had 9 pots of coffee this morning. I've had half a cup of coffee because I was too busy doing stuff, which is amazing. I usually drink way more coffee. But it like that's interesting to me. So, starting from that perspective of we're going to build communities on Solana and Wax, and we're literally going to integrate them in meaningful ways. What can we do, right? And what can we do right now is like at any point there's a 2-stage hop to get to Solana or back, right? We start a liquidity pool on Solana. Everybody's freaking happy. Oh my God, this is awesome. We have NFTs. Cool. Well, the way to get to Wax very quickly is you use our token and Wuffy pool to get into Wuffy to go to the thing and use it on the other side, and boom, you're done, right? So it's not as frictionless as we would like it, but it's a hell of a lot better than it was last year.
Yeah, for sure. And you're right. Like there's still a ways to go. I mean, bridges are still notoriously hackable. It's usually the biggest vulnerability.
Yeah.
And the user experience, there's often delays because you're moving across multiple chains, and so you're sitting there for an hour, nervous, wondering if your assets will show up. It's not a great user experience. There's not a clean, intuitive way to move funds, for the most part, and that's something.
But for the most part. But I think that it's really improving. And it's really a much better experience, for example, when you bridge from Solana to Wax, or from, let's say, from Solana to Arbitrum, Solana to Polygon, because those are relatively fast chains, not as fast as Wax or whatever, but the experience is better than when you want to bridge, for example, from Ethereum to any other chain. That's really, that's really slow, and you get kind of some fear that your money will get lost in the middle. I once got like 20K, not lost, but trapped in the wormhole. And it was there for like 3 days until I figured out how to get them on the other side. It was a very stressful situation. So
yeah, that's tough. I guess on the flip side, at least I want to get to your comments. I think that's a really good idea. I was thinking something kind of similar, but I think like we are early, right? And I know like we've been around for a while, so I think sometimes we forget that we're early, but we're early, and that to me just smells like opportunity, right? Like that the stuff doesn't work perfectly yet. Fucking awesome. That means our timing is good, right? So now, like, how do we explore the tools that do exist to accomplish the kinds of things that other teams have accomplished already, right? Like, I don't need a meme coin to be $1 billion. I don't need, to have some kind of infrastructure thing that is that big. That is honestly scary. But having 1% of that for the entire Wax ecosystem would be awesome. Like, it would be really, really good for literally everybody in the space, right? So anyway, so we'll I'm sure talk more about that. So yeah, we want to learn more about Solana. Can Russell do some sessions for our creators, maybe for a small token fee? I don't know what the frick the token fee is about. You just
you want to throw me some tokens? I won't say no, but I'm happy to do an educational session anytime.
So this is one of the things I was wondering. So you guys are going to launch the NFT launch within a month or what have you, right? Okay. So who's launching in concert with that launch? And, should we sort of like try and think of some things that we as Wax creators could do to kind of, start to build those bridges and build some kind of awareness on that? Like, is that something that we should look into? And then what kind of are the technical things? Like, what are the sort of differences between Wax and Solana?
I would say absolutely. That sounds like a great idea. And in fact, a lot of the things that conceptually ideas we come up with today might not technically be possible, but we know that that's only a temporary hurdle, and eventually soon it will be possible. So you can even think of like NFTs that will be redeemable for we can create certain incentives, certain benefits that can be down the road. As long as you're holding the NFT, when they will be available, you could redeem them. But
sure.
In terms of art, in terms of utility, we want as much in our marketplace as possible, because that, day one, minute one, the NFT, the marketplace goes live. We want volume. We want people on there. We want to have as much art available, curated art, like I said, in the marketplace so people can buy. And we obviously want volume. We need momentum right out of the gate. So the more art we have available, the better. So absolutely, I would say any artists you have, anything you want to think of doing on Solana as a bridge, or like again for future, we'll have our token launchpad as well. So it'll be very easy to launch a token on Solana as well. It could be corresponding with the NFT collection, it could be separate. But just again, throwing big ideas out there, and we've got time to figure this out.
Okay, and for your marketplace, what will be the standard? Will you be using the Candy Machine NFTs like all the other Solana marketplaces, or do you have your own standard for the NFTs? How will that work?
It'll be just the Solana standard. I think So our token we use the new token 2022 standard, but for the NFT marketplace, it's just minting in a standard Solana.
So you can use the candy machine, create your collection using the candy machine and everything, and list your NFTs in your marketplace.
Correct. So you could actually, if you already have Solana NFTs minted, you can import them in, or we have a minting process as well. So if you have, an audio, video file, picture, whatever your NFT is, you can actually mint it directly on Asvoria, and then it'll immediately be available on the marketplace.
Okay, cool.
This is where, again, in the whole wanted to live off the land thing. What NFT Stonkers Mana did some amazing things last cycle. It's really cool to see him doing some more innovation. So he's got a little Telegram mining little game, whatever. They're gonna, I think, drop a token. And like right off the bat, you have to put in your Wax wallet and your Solana wallet. So he's got basically a database where these things are connected meaningfully. And I think like just that. Now, if I'm thinking, okay, I want to do a bounty block or a drop or something, right? Like I've got the ability to target a community that is literally in both places, which I kind of find really fascinating. So like if we could explore ways, maybe Ken can do this, where if you're, and honestly, Juan, for Nefty, we should maybe contemplate this as well, where like any sort of cross-platform thing that we do, users have the ability to opt in and basically, okay, for this Wax wallet, I want this Solana wallet, attached to it, right? So if anything happens over here, and I maybe want it to happen over there, right? So like that starts to sort of connect those two things in a meaningful way, so that if I want to do something for the uplift, and we launch something on Solana or what have you, like I know if these people do this thing over here, I know their Wax wallet, right? So I can automatically connect that to create some interesting things that happen.
You could certainly build, if you build an interface that allows somebody to enter both their Wax wallet and their Solana wallet, then you could do the bridging behind the scenes. You could have a smart contract execute through Wolfie.
That's exactly it. Like that. And I'm trying to get Matt on the show, but he's like, oh, we're gonna reach out in a week or two. Fine, get on the freaking show, because he's already done it, right? Like I would more than happily, basically just partner with them, because they're going to do all sorts of missions. They're going to do launches. It's like a really interesting promo engine that they've created, but it does that, right? So like if that's the case, and then they can spit out a report for projects that's going to do that. Like they've got the infrastructure already, right? So like that might be interesting, but it also might be interesting for like what's stopping Asvoria from doing that.
That's exactly it. It's not hard to build.
It's not hard at all.
And then you have input fields, bridge X amount of Wax to Solana. Here's how much Solana you'll get. You click execute, and then behind the scenes, you use Wolfie. It does everything, and then the user experience is beautiful.
One thing, and this Adrian just showed me this. They've got a swap right now that is essentially a bridge. It just uses Changely under the hood.
Yep.
Right. So, you're basically selling Wax for Solana, but like from a user perspective, and again, it's not inexpensive one. I know Changely takes a cut or whatever, but like I've used them a bunch. Like that shit works.
Yeah. Most people pay a little bit of a fee not to have to do all that work themselves. One there, back. Even using Wolfie, it's still, for us it seems simple, but for most people it doesn't.
Right. It just the user experience is the same, but they take a cut. So it's not inexpensive. Or, it's relatively inexpensive, but it's not zero. Juan, you were thinking something. What's going on?
No, I was exactly thinking on this, using Changely in the back. You could use the Wax Cloud wallet bridge if you have similar amounts of WOF and for example USDC USDT on both sides of the Solana and Wax, and you could do something like fakes that you're sending whatever you want, but you should be able to buy it
just
on
automatically
Wax
bounce it.
Yeah, exactly, something like that. So you can do something like that, and at least give a better.
My nipples are so hard that they hurt. It's unhealthy, dude. Hey, we gotta talk to Adrian about this, because he's like, why don't we? But you're right. Like, we can just bounce it off there. Now, granted, like we always have to be concerned about the WUF arbitrage, but like any pool we make is going to then have an arbitrage potential, right? So like that. But if everybody was doing that, then that arbitrage would smooth out real fast on the WUF pairs.
Yeah,
dude, that's so smart.
Build it.
Let's go. Whatever. Juan just mellowly fucking changing the world on the Netty show. Now I do need more coffee. God damn.
I love it.
So yeah, Launchpad. That I talked to Keck about some friends of mine want to drop this goofy little meme coin on Wax. And it's actually like OG. I don't know if you guys know. It's like one of the original uplifters who was one of the sweetest human beings on the face of the earth has been asking me to start a meme coin with them for a long time. I'm like, I don't have time for this, but you should for sure, right? So I was gonna go to Keck and say, hey, like, let's do this. I know you guys can do the contract, and he just wants to kind of kick this thing off. It's gonna be hilarious. And he's like, well, we need a launchpad on Wax, and we need a rug checker on Wax. And so I think no matter what happens, I think eventually that's inevitable. And I think the ability for launchpads on Solana to then partner with projects on Wax, I think is going to be clutch. I think again, if we're going to have a meme coin wave tsunami on Wax, we can't wait for it. We got to build it, right? And I think we're already laying the groundwork for that. I think that's going to be really fun. But then, the ability to really tap into that market over there meaningfully, I think is going to be huge. And I think, Russell, it's going to be really interesting. The sort of narrative that I think could really play, if you want to get into a market cap, like a micro cap kind of situation, you might be able to do that on Solana, but it's freaking like money on Wax. Like Wax could, has many orders of magnitude to grow to be the size of Solana. So the potential upside is absolutely effing absurd. Right. And so then, we just can play on both fields and give meaningful opportunities to everybody on both sides of the line that is becoming fuzzier every day.
That's such a good point. Like there's, Solana has grown to be so huge now and a lot of people have made a lot of money. You take 1% of what Solana's got available and move it into Wax, and the entire Wax ecosystem goes parabolic. So
that's exactly it.
It's
right. Yeah. It's not going to take a lot. And really, once people start to see it, right. And you take a look at it even now, that every single chance that us DJs have, I mean, the Chad launch, which had a wrinkle, we should probably actually talk about that so that people know about it. The Chad launches, and I really like those guys. I like, they're promoting it. They're doing, the right things. They had a huge problem and they immediately fixed it, which is part of the story. I'll get to that in a minute. But that's kind of the reason why, we're going to have to create some systemized ways of doing this on Wax so that this can be done in a obviously the safest way that we can, orchestrate, but the most fun way too. So Chad this morning, they did a one-sided DEX. They were going to put 52% of their supply, in an IDO, which is it's just starting with one Wax or whatever on the other side. Whoever gets in first is real lucky, right? So it creates this whole freaking insanity. Another reason why, and we'll talk about this later too, there's a fair launch thing that Juan told me about that I think is genius. I think, whatever happens on Wax, they should incorporate something like that. Sorry, I just had a little cough right there. So, it was interesting, but they only dropped 0.52% of supply.
0.52%.
Yeah, they only dropped. They forgot 2 zeros in their drop. It was and I was I saw it because I put in an order or whatever, and I only got a couple billion. I'm like, that's not right. If 100 trillion market cap, I should be getting closer to $1 trillion or whatever, because there's not that many people doing this right yet. So I go to Wax on Edge. I'm like, so it just was 0.52%, and the market cap was 50 million. Oh, this ain't right. So I started messaging, everybody on the team, and Martian finally got back to me, and he's like, "Oh no, it's just a UI thing, brother. No." He's like, "No, go count the zeros. Go count the zeros, dude." And so he did. And here's what they did. They announced it immediately. They say, "Hey, they talked to everybody in their Discord. What do you think we should do? You think we should try and airdrop to people, or do you think we should burn 99%?" Everyone was like, "Burn 99%. Do it yesterday." So they did, and now honestly, it's fine, right? They burn 99% of the supply. And it's effectively the same, right? It's gonna work out.
Okay.
Yeah, they did awesome, frankly, right? Like they really fucked up the launch. Like somebody fat fingered that thing to hell and back. Like it was not great. Yeah, and I got out. I lost a little bit of wax on it or whatever, but I bought back in immediately, right? Because like the stuff that they're they've been doing a lot of what I consider to be the right things. Very community oriented, very fun, many meme, hyper Chad rock and roll, like let's go to town. And they did it, right? So they they did that. Yeah. Yeah, good catch with those meme tokens. There are so much zeros. There is. It's like I don't like counting the zeros either, but if you're gonna do a launch, it would almost be good one if like people had a place to go, and that kind of detail was basically impossible to do it wrong. So that might be sort of maybe take some notes on that.
Well, yeah, but I think there's also a big element of the culture of the team, because normally when we try to do something, we always configure everything first on testnet, then we try to testnet, and then we move whatever we tested there to mainnet. But I think that most of the teams, they just go directly to mainnet and do whatever they plan to do there, and realize there's a mistake after everybody already realized it. So
test 3 times, launch once. So Wapaka, could you expand on that a little bit? Rocco did the burn the right way. He reduced max supply on the contract. Did he do that by sending it to EOSIO.null? Like, does your system on Wax on Edge just recognize that as like this token burn now kind of thing, or what did he do? Just so that if anybody else is interested in it, they can do it the right way. Also, for anybody that doesn't know, Wapaka is the absolute super genius that started waxonedge.app. If you're doing any swaps, highly recommend starting there. This is the thing, Russell, that does all the multi-routing, right? So you can set it to like up to 10, and it'll literally go through like so many pools that have nothing to do with your token, either one of them, right? It's really intense. This is why like you start to really like contemplate that when we actually go have our little campfire in the woods. This is probably going to come up for me, frankly. Like that there is a kind of networked value in like the TVL for the whole system that I am barely just starting to grasp the ramifications of that. And of course, like Shipple got in early on this, right? They literally have over 1,000 pools all over the freaking place, on Taco, on Alcor, just all over the place, right? So you do any swap, go down, look through the list. Shipple's going to be in almost every trade you make. It's insane, right? I want to trade Wax to Woofy. Cool. You just went through Shipple. What? Right? It's crazy. Because it's like weird arbitrage thing. So I have to add this feature, just playing balance of EOSIO.null into token stats page. I'll do Wax.
But I know I don't know if that's enough, because many tokens have their own burn address. For example, Nifty has the burn.nifty, and there's where we send the tokens that we are burning. Right. And I know that other teams use their own addresses to burn.
Oh, he has the burn action inside his contract. So instead of sending to EOSIO.null to burn, he called his burn action, and that reduced the max supply. So that 0.52% is now 50. Oh, well, that's cool. I didn't know you could do that on the token contract. Oh, well then.
You can do a lot of things on the token contract.
Learn something new every day.
Interesting. Juan, do you want to drop any news today, or is it we're gonna have to wait on that? Damn it! Damn.
No news yet, Corey.
No, it's fun. It's burn action not standard. You must add 2 lines of code to get it. All right, cool. When Wax on Edge meme, there you go. Drop that.
That's a good one.
Drop that as a meme token.
Oh, TC.
I'd have to buy that. Yeah, TC's the shit. There's no way around it. Yeah, TC is the only reason I heard about Keck, and I'm glad I did. It's been an interesting experience. Very educational.
TC and I are still huddling all of our Aether, waiting for it to moon. Back in the day, oh man, you know what? That was making me a 6-figure income with our planet and with Ken's all of Ken's NFTs, like staking those. Oh my god, that was
it was. Yep. Yeah. No, there were months on our planet that I was making too much money.
Yeah.
Like for real. Like it was weird. And again, like, you know, you can have massive meme coin waves, and I kind of feel like that was how that gaming thing initially went, right? But unfortunately, you know, you do hyperinflation, it only goes one way. Eventually, the hangover will bite everyone in the eyeball, and it will be uncomfortable. So I think there's definitely more sort of sustainable ways to sort of create that, which is, I think, honestly, I think is what we're doing now, which is it's good lessons. Cool.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Super duper fun. All right, so next up for Asvoria is going to be the NFT marketplace. So how soon can people go in and start sort of setting up? Like, if people wanted to come and be part of sort of a launch party, which, by the way, you guys should have. I don't know if you guys are doing that. Like, how would they do that?
Yeah, so I would say anybody that has, like, if you're an artist and you want to have, so you want to sell some of your art on Solana, my Telegram right there is at NFT King. Just send me a message. We are right now building our roster of artists, as I said. So, you know, we definitely would love to talk to anybody that's interested, and we'll take a look at your art. We'll qualify you, and then hopefully get you in. I'm going to send you and Juan, if you want to, by all means, I would love to have your feedback. We're doing internal testing right now. So some members of our community, the team, we're all kind of playing around with it. And then I can send you guys the information to get you in. And, you know, I'd love to hear what you think and if there's any bugs or anything like that. And yeah, like I said, by tentatively May 15th, we may try to coincide with consensus, which is the 29th to 31st or something like that, end of the month. And we may do sort of a soft launch on the 15th if the code and everything is ready, and then do sort of a grand opening with in Austin as part of consensus. We've got Bid Angels as well, because Michael Turpin is one of our advisors and investors. So we did the Bid Angels event in Denver. And we would probably do that one in Austin, and we'll do sort of a big announcement and bring the community and do giveaways and all sorts of fun stuff. So yeah, we're targeting by the end of this month we'll be live and ready to go.
That's awesome. Cool. Yeah, I might. So I've had, like, I don't know. We'll have to see what goes on. Because I've been sort of toying around. Like, I've got some music stuff that I just kind of want to drop, but obviously, like, we've got 900 million things going on, so he's got fucking time.
But yeah, it wouldn't take much. I mean, you could do like either like the videos that you post on Facebook.
Yeah, that's what I did. I chopped up one little loop pedal jam that went kind of obnoxiously well and kind of came out of nowhere. I chopped it up into 8 pieces and, like, made the videos all goofy and stupid. I'm not a videographer, obviously, whatever. But yeah, I was, you know, just gonna you know, launch it as a little collection or whatever. But maybe this could, like, force me to do it just because I really want to learn that ecosystem, right? So it's sort of like, you know, do I really care about my music NFTs right now? No, but like, what could we do over there that would sort of get our toes wet? Juan, what are you thinking? I know you.
Yeah, no, I was thinking that the thing on Solana is that the marketing part, it's extremely difficult, I think, especially for someone coming from Wax, because I think the vibe of the communities and everything is completely different, and you have to work on a different way, and that's what's really challenging.
What are the different ways, do you think? Russell, have you seen that? Has that been your experience?
I mean, look, ultimately the things that work will work anywhere. Like, you're building loyalty, being transparent, communication, providing value and benefits, you know, in real life for token or NFT holders. There isn't much of an overlap. I think that's where the opportunity exists. Like, you're right, though they are somewhat siloed. People seem to, the people that are mostly in Wax don't go over to Solana and vice versa. But so that's the challenge initially, I think.
But also, my feeling is that on Solana, teams are not so open to do collabs between them. It's not as easy as it is on Wax, and maybe it's also a matter of scale, because you have larger communities there, you have larger projects, so it feels like they are more inaccessible. On Wax, I think things flow much easier.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with you from the perspective of time that, you know, the wax community has been around for a lot longer, and there's projects that are now 5-6 years old and have real camaraderie with one another. There does seem to be more collaboration. But I think over time that will happen with Solana as well. And then within Solana, certainly I am seeing, and that's what we're trying to foster right now. Our goal is to create as many partnerships with other projects that are already on Solana and Asvoria as possible, and bring those communities together. There's just so much value. I mean, again, for all of the projects that we're discussing, everything that any of us are involved in, community is everything. These projects live and die with the communities that they can foster, the loyalty within those communities. And, you know, again, you know, say what you will about Bored Apes, and they seem to be like the poster child for NFTs gone wrong. But one thing that they did was they really taught us a master class in community building. And, you know, they launched these things, and then you got, you know, you were airdropped the Bored Kennel Club, and those were worth thousands. And then you were airdrop mutants and the acid, you know, the mutations, and those were worth thousands. And then you were dropped ape coin, and those were worth hundreds of thousands in some cases. I mean, honestly, you know, like nobody.
This is the thing for tokens. Bonk just did the same thing, right? It's like brilliant. If you think of a Bored Ape as a stake token, that's it, right? Yeah. And so, you know, I think that's like suddenly you have a reason to have it. There is community events. Like the whole idea was we were going to have like these goofball fucking ape parties, whatever it was. Those happen, great, right? So there's this sort of core community function of it. But then you were dropping in, you know, value into these things. So it was a reason that, like, what if they airdrop something next month? I definitely don't want to sell. Are you crazy? Because what if they did it again, right? And I think that's where that kind of energy, honestly, like Lithium is going that way. Like that's exactly where I'm taking the Lithium token, because it just is so freaking obvious now that's how we can start to bootstrap some value, and really honestly, like, give people more value, right? Like every community collab that the Uplift is going to do, you know, they're going to be, you know, offering something that we can airdrop on those people that are staking the token. Like that's just going to, you know, be how it is. And I think there's going to be an infinite number of possible collaborations like that. It's going to be pretty fun.
Yeah, for sure. And one, to your last point as well, the other thing that just occurred to me, which, you know, there's a positive and negative with, like, when it comes to Wax, there seems to be, it's almost like a cult following. Like the people that are in Wax, that have been in Wax for a while, you know, it still feels underground to a certain. It's like being a fan of an indie band before anybody knows who they are, and then you kind of resent them for hitting it big. Like on the one hand, we all want Wax to hit $1 again, but on the other hand, it's like it's kind of cool to be part of an ecosystem. Like it's like only the cool kids know about this. And so we do want to foster that. Like, well, that's one thing that we're trying to build in Asvoria as well, is that sense of you know, being a part of something special that not that many people know about, or, you know, that's a very powerful emotion for that community.
Yeah, absolutely. But on the other hand, you also have to think about scaling enough so that you can make a business out of what you're doing.
Right. You can't stay underground forever.
Well, that's, you know, I love that idea of this sort of being. I mean, like even last cycle, I felt like Wax was an underdog, and there's a million, you know, things that we could talk about how like the Wax team could do this differently or whatever. But, you know, again, what are the tools you have? Are they enough to make some kind of big community impact? And I think that is a categorical holy fucking shit. Yes, it just is, right? And then, you know, the fact that there's now a usable bridge, you know, is even more interesting. The fact that, like, I mean, my biggest thing, and Juan and I talked about this a bunch, like, I don't know anybody over at Solana. Wait, I didn't know people over on Solana.
Yeah, that's right.
Now I know you guys, right? And again, like that, you know, you guys are gonna have projects launching over there, and I think that is an amazing sort of community potential collab partnership, because you guys are in it, and obviously we are very in it on the Wax side, and we can basically tie those two things together, and create those kind of pipelines. Because again, like, what happens if you know, we do get, again, like 0.1 or 1% of attention of Solana market cap coming to Wax. Wax, like minimum 10x's, probably significantly more, right? And the, you know, the meme coin tsunami that we're talking about trying to help happen goes absolutely bananas. And, you know, with stronger and stronger partnerships, well, where do you think that value is going to slosh back to if Asvoria was the main partner that really tied those communities together? Not as the bridge, not that the technological stuff, right, which we're gonna have to figure out. And Juan, your idea is still burning a hole in my brain. That's just fancy, right? But then, you know, there's, I think that's kind of why I get so excited about this, right? Because we're at the beginning, we're not at the end. Yes, there's going to be challenges. Yes, we need to get real loud about stuff in ways that, you know, we might not have accomplished before, but zero rules of physics will be broken.
And you know, when you said that, it's like over the last couple of months, obviously with conferences, we met the Solana team and we met other projects. But 3 months ago, I also didn't know anybody in Solana, like other than ourselves. Like, and again, just speaks to Juan, what you were saying earlier, is like that's the overall theme. Like when you've been in Wax for a while, you know so many other people in Wax, but so Solana is still just kind of finding its way in that perspective.
Okay.
Awesome sauce. Well, Russell, I'm glad you're doing stuff in the space. I know you went and got Ken out of his coma. I'm grateful for that. You were one of the people that helped keep me going when things were really, really dark for me over the last couple of years. And I'm really grateful for that. And so, yeah, now here we are, and there's, you know, there's a whole bunch of crazy shit we can do. I think,
I love it.
So yeah, and this is maybe the thing, right? Because there's no, you know, the whole Asvoria Wax NFTs. If we had a situation where, and again, like Alpha's kind of done this, their little Telegram thing, but I think we could do this anyway. Actually, we could even do it with we could do it with memos on Wax. Anyway, not the point. So if Asvoria was doing some kind of promo on Wax and had, you know, Asvoria Wax NFTs, you could literally use that to, okay, you know, buy this NFT, you need to burn it with your Solana address in the you know, in the memo. Boom, your database starts to grow, right? And now those things that happened over here on the Wax blockchain, you could, you know, tie over there and put them on a whitelist or do whatever the hell you wanted to do over there, and vice versa, right? So that we could start tying those things together. I think seeing even a small test of that would be really cool early on.
I think that would be an amazing idea, and it just occurred to me, just one thing again, if you're building an interface, you can have a minting process where you know, one button on the back end mints on both chains. You have a single NFT minted on both chains. When you go to the marketplace, you have an option, buy on Wax, buy on Solana. Whichever one you click on, the smart contract automatically burns the other one, so that scarcity is maintained. And that way it's just seamless. I mean, I love that idea. You can choose which chain you want to have your NFT on.
Well, like, wouldn't it be cool if it was both?
Or that's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly.
Like there's going to be different opportunities for each one, right? Like that. Looking at it from a community perspective, even just for Uplift or whatever. Right? Like I want to have as many you know, Lithium LP collabs as we possibly can, right? Like, and we're gonna do. We've done blend collabs with Shipple. We'll be doing lots more with other different projects or whatever, right? So now, you know, if we're meaningfully on Solana in a way that sort of makes sense for our project and the community and kind of the way that we run stuff, well, now the number of potential projects that I can collaborate with just like quadrupled, right? That's intense. That's fun for me.
Yeah, but it has advantages, but on the other hand, I think that you will fragment your community because you will have your community on different places and they might not have the same interests.
Do you think that it would fragment to have our community in different Wax projects?
In different Wax projects, maybe not.
So what's different?
Different blockchains, I would say so.
Where from a user experience point of view, what's the difference?
I think it's not only from a user experience point of view. I think that's not the biggest problem. I think it's the mindset, because you go to different blockchains with a different mindset. You come to Wax and you think about NFTs.
Some people do that.
In the past, you went to Ethereum and you immediately thought about DeFi. Now you go to Solana and then you think about NFTs and DeFi because both are very big there and growing. And you go to Solana and you think of meme coins, and you want to be degen on meme coins. So I think that it depends where you are, what you want to do, and what's your mindset. And to build a community, you need a common element that unites these people.
So, yeah, no, I completely agree that you need a mindset or like something that's going to connect those people. What if that thing that was connecting those people is that we like being two places at once? Right? Mindsets can be, cultivated. And also, like, the whole idea behind meme coins and culture is that we're literally cultivating those that connective tissue between members in a community. So I say right now, we're going to create communities that, as one of their fundamental core beliefs, don't think that different chains are a thing. Right? It's different expressions of the same insanity. Right? You want meme coins, they're on Wax. You want the same meme coin, also on Solana.
Yeah.
Right.
I think
if we just communicate that message over and over and over again, it becomes true in a meaningful way.
Yeah. So one, you're not wrong, but it doesn't have to be that way. We can change
that. I fully agree.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, right. That's a much cleaner way of saying what I just
said. But yes, absolutely. And I mean, we can do. We can incentivize that. We can have some sort of collection where you need to hold a particular NFT on Wax and you need to hold its companion NFT on Solana, and only if you hold both, it unlocks something of benefit, whatever that might be, airdrops, merch, exclusive content, what have you, IRL events, anything, right? So that way we can kind of foster that creativity and bring the communities together. We can start that process.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
As long as you have something of value to give to the community, I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, I think we can create that.
That's right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's I think where I mean, you look at what Bored Apes did. I mean, they got smashed by being overhyped, and then the bear market hit. Like, the hangover is going to hit everybody eventually, right? And they got drunker than everybody, so the hangover was very bad. But fundamentally, what they did worked. Right. Like, I think there's positive lessons to be learned from that. And then, of course, we want to learn on the, from the backside too, to sort of be better at handling, the fall and winter parts of our sort of inevitable cycle until it's not. But yeah, they invented that shit out of whole cloth. And honestly, every other project's doing the same thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, just got to make it fun if we can. Or weird. I'm a huge fan of weird, as it turns out, just selfishly. That's a thing I'm finding out about myself.
It's a never-ending process.
It is. It's a process. So, okay, Russell, thank you for coming on. We're just gonna have you on all the time. I'm recruiting you, conscripting
discussion. And without announcing too many details, but I mean, behind the scenes, we're obviously talking a lot about official partnerships, so we should have some really cool announcements over the next few weeks to make, in terms of, like, with Lithium, with Nifty Blocks, with others. We're going to start the process right now of changing the mindset and building that collaboration between chains. So
yeah. I mean, we talked about it out there. Uplift is absolutely in. Like, we definitely want to explore all of that stuff. And again, doing anything with the Russell K, as far as I'm concerned, it starts at a go, and then we figure out what the details are on the way to the ground. So that's fun. Okay. Rock and roll. Juan, do we have anyone tomorrow?
I think we do have someone.
Is it Broken Dolls tomorrow?
Yes, I think we have Broken Dolls.
Awesome. They're so cool. I'm super excited. Lisa was telling me that Broken Dolls, the creator, was literally making art while getting bombed on October 6th in Israel. Like, that guy's effing hardcore.
Wow.
Just like, wow. But they're super OG in the Wax space. They've been doing stuff forever and ever and ever, and I absolutely love everything that they've done. And they're still kicking it. So it's gonna be really awesome to have a head on. We'll talk about Broken Dolls. What day is it? Is it Wednesday? Where am I?
It is Wednesday.
Wednesday, yes.
Do we have anyone for Friday?
That I'm not sure, Corey. You're the one with the calendar.
Yeah, I am. I haven't looked at it. You're right. I should probably look at the calendar that I made. So if there isn't, maybe we could do a show on Uplift, unless some kind of announcement wants to get made on Friday that I am not aware of yet.
Maybe. And And what we definitely have to do, and we always forget to do it, is show people how to get in and out of wax with USDT through Alcor.
Yeah, I didn't know about this. So yes,
I know that you didn't know, and I
I know.
told you, and
You
and
did.
we should share it with more people so that if somebody doesn't know how to do it,
100%.
they should learn.
Yeah. No, that's an extremely good skill set. Yeah, no matter what we do on Friday, we should definitely do that.
We should do that. Yes.
That's hardcore. Freaking good old USDT. Only good for getting cooler shit. All right, guys. Russell, thank you so much for coming on and for all the work that you do and for being such a good friend to Ken in the real space and me, frankly. All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Go do some cool shit. I think Chad is still having its little launch day. Congrats to that team, not for face planting, which teams are going to do sometimes, but for fixing it as fast as they did. That was really well done. And, I have high hopes for everything that they're going to do. All right. Ciao. We'll see you guys later.
Thank you, guys. Really appreciate your time. This was a lot of fun. We'll do it again very soon.
Yeah.
Talk soon.
Hey, Juan, guess what it is on Wax? It's fucking meme token season. Juan.
Yeah, baby.
Meme token
All right,
season.
guys. Talk soon.
Tsunami coming.
Okay.
Goodbye.